Let me pull up the story here from Politico. Trump allies and MAGA luminaries move to kill off the Haley for VP buzz. Haley's rise has prompted speculation she'd be a logical running mate for Trump. This is fake news. This is an absolutely fake story, and I'm willing to bet that these two people who wrote it fabricated it through clever manipulation. And what I mean by that is you take a morsel of truth and you can make it mean whatever you want it to mean. You can make it convey whatever you want it to convey. Take a look at this. The fervent effort to kill off Haley's Veep buzz before it truly takes off has come from the former UN ambassador and ex-South Carolina governor is gaining momentum in the Republican primary. It has prompted speculation she'd be a logical choice as a running mate for Trump, who has maintained a wide polling lead, blah, blah, blah. Her rise has caught the attention of the former president, who has recently quizzed people outside his campaign for their impressions of Haley, according to 3 people familiar with the conversation. Quote, "What do you think of Nikki?" Trump had asked. It's not unusual for Trump to survey donors, outside advisors, and members of his Mar-a-Lago resort on personnel matters. He's also blah, 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 blah. What do they say? He pressed allies for the impressions of other Republicans, et cetera, et cetera. But Haley has been the subject of his most recent focus. Haley's polling surge has alarmed some staunch Trump confidants who are acutely aware the former president pays close attention to survey data, et cetera, et cetera. So they're referencing during a phone conversation with one ally about Haley, Trump indicated that he was aware of the criticisms of her, but nonetheless wanted to get this person's take about the former ambassador, according to a person familiar with the call. Here's what likely really happened. Donald Trump probably called someone and said, "Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people in the media talking about it. Yeah, how are you doing?" These journalists then say the reason why Trump is not quoted here. If someone truly came to them, 3 people apparently familiar with this call, you'd think they would go, Donald Trump said, in fact, there's an earlier quote. "What do you think of Nikki?" Trump had asked. Where's the rest of what he said? Why? Because they don't want to get sued.
Right.
So I always explain this to people. The media will lie when they ask you for a quote. No matter what you say, they will find a way to make it the narrative they want. For example, a journalist contacts James O'Keefe and says, "We're going to write a story about you. It's a profile. I'm curious, what's your take on dogs?" And then James says, "I love dogs. I think dogs are fantastic. Who doesn't love dogs?" And they'll go, "Ooh, that's a quote we can't run. I got an idea." When asked about whether James O'Keefe liked dogs, he asked an intriguing question, seemingly confused, indicating, in fact, he may not actually like dogs at all. When they don't use quotes, they're lying to you.
Well, this, what do you think of Haley? They don't say really anything other than it's on this supposed call. I mean, you could easily pull it from a rally. What if Trump walked out of a rally and was like, "What do you guys think of Nikki Haley?" And they all booed, right? This
it could even be this.
Anything. It's so random.
Trump could have been on the phone with Steve Bannon, who knows? And then he's like, "Yeah, I saw what Tucker said about Haley, as if anyone actually cares. What do you think about Haley?" As if anyone's going to ask that question. And they run that quote specifically out of context to make it seem like Donald Trump actually wants Haley.
What do you think of Haley? I think she's about to cancel her campaign, said Trump.
He might have said, "I've heard a bunch of criticism about her. What do you think about her?"
The way I look
the
at
guy's
this,
like, "I don't know," and he's like, "All right."
The way I look at this is a journalism professor said many years ago. He said the way you deal with these is every time they use these. So this is anonymously sourced here, according to people familiar with the matter. The way I see it is you need more of your stories to produce actual evidence. Like over 51% should be documents or video. But this is like the New York Times is usually 95 to 100% anonymously sourced
random garbage
material. So it's like taking money out of an ATM. I have to deposit into my bank account because I'm withdrawing upon my own journalistic credibility. If I'm going to say, trust me by virtue of the decree that I'm to be trusted. Tim's right. I have no reason to trust those 2 guys.